Welcome to Navigating Workplace Wellness. This is episode 4 in our series of 6 episodes. It's a project that's proudly supported by the EML Group. This episode is about the science of stress. Before going any further, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we work and live, and we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. We recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. I'm Liz Greenwood, Senior Policy Manager, Workers' Compensation, WHS and Regulation from Business New South Wales, and Ellie Brown from Lysander. If you could introduce yourself too.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be back again, Liz. So I'm Ellie. I'm from Lysander Consulting Group. We specialise in leader, culture, wellbeing in organisations, and it's a real pleasure to be here again to spend some time talking about a subject that I'm passionate about.
Thanks, Ellie. Just like the other episodes in this series, we're going to follow the same format. So part 1 is why is this is such an important topic. Secondly, basically, if there's one key message that we want everyone to walk away with, what is that? Thirdly, recognising that sometimes we can get too theoretical and not be terribly practical. We've included some tools in there, some suggestions on how you can put the theory into practice. And then finally, where to from here? We're not going to leave you high and dry. So if you want something to look into further, we've got it for you. So first, why is the science of stress so important?
Well, it's really important to know that, stress is part of our lives. It's part of our every single day. And there can be good stress as well. It keeps us motivated. It keeps us aware. It keeps us safe. If we think about, going back to prehistoric times, stress helped with our fight, flight, freeze response. It kept us safe. But stress is only harmful if the stresses are frequent or prolonged. So it's really important that we understand that we need a certain amount of stress, but when it tips over the edge, that's when we're in dangerous territory, Liz, and that's not what we want for anyone.
So our key message then?
Well, we have to think about, our workplace is where we interact. It's our social environment, and there's going to be stress in the workplace. It is unavoidable. And again, it's about how we show up, how we manage those stresses that makes the difference. And we are all responsible for making sure that we manage our own stress and we don't create more stress within the workplace. So we want to make sure that everyone goes home physically and mentally safe as well. And that's about managing stress in the workplace.
So given that we're in a workplace, we can't just down tools and go meditate in the corner for 10 minutes, can we? So are there any other practical tools for managing stress in the workplace?
Absolutely. What we're going to talk about today is a really simple model. It's called the SCARF model. We love to use acronyms here so they're easy to remember. And it's about some of the things that we can do to make sure that we're not creating a threat response or increasing stress levels. What we're doing is creating a reward response. And what we want to talk about is how we kind of get people to think about how they manage their stress, how they feel about stress, and making sure that people put themselves into that positive reward state for themselves, but also put other people into that positive reward state. And we'll talk about what that means when we look at the SCARF model.
Right.
Okay, so really simple one, Liz. SCARF, in a nutshell: status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. So this is a model by a fellow called David Rock, and he has 5 key domains, which is the status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness, that influence our behaviours in a social situation. And it's based on neuroscience, and these domains can activate either a threat or a reward response. And, as we said, in past, those threat or reward response kept us safe. So if we saw something that was dangerous, we ran away from it. If we saw something that was going to reward us, we went toward it. And this is where we have this away and toward behavior. So in the workplace, we want to make sure that we're creating toward responses. We're not trying to push people away. The easiest way to really kind of think about this model is to go through each of the domains and think about perhaps what causes perhaps an away or a threat response and what we can do to create a toward or a positive response.
Okay.
And you can probably share some examples, Liz. So the first one that we look at is, let's get them up here, is our status. And we've put a little bit more detail up here for you so that you can really kind of, lean into this one. So status. Status is really about, our importance, how we feel in relation to others, how we feel about ourselves, our jobs, how we show up in the workplace. So if someone's kind of talking down to us, making out that we can't do our jobs, that can create stress, and that can threaten our status, our ability that we've got this, we can do our job, and that creates an away response. So someone's kind of questioning our ability to do our role, to do our job, and that can be really detrimental. We don't want to trigger a status. The second one is certainty. People need to know what's going on in their world. We all want to know what's going to happen in our future. We want to make sure that we've got a safe space to be in. So when we're not sure about what's going on in our worlds, we have that threat response. We tend to go to the negative. Our brains are wired for the negative. They're not wired for the positive. It's harder to kind of push those positive thoughts. So if you can think about, if you're in a workplace and you're not quite sure what's going on in terms of rostering, in terms of changes, how does that make you feel, Liz?
Well, a bit unsure of myself.
Absolutely. So that's that away response. What would be a better response is for people to communicate, to talk about, there's a change in roster, this is what's going to happen, this is how it's going to affect you, so that you're able to prepare, you're able to understand, and you have that sense of, I know what's going on, I understand this, and I can prepare for it. That creates a reward response. So you can see very subtle changes in how we communicate can either trigger that away response or that toward response. The next one is autonomy. We all like to have autonomy, and an autonomy is around being able to be free to kind of, that we've got this, that we know what we're doing, we know how to do our jobs, our control over events. When someone's always telling us what to do, is standing over us, is watching us too closely, is micromanaging us, we have that sense that we lose all sense of control over what we can do, and it creates that threat response. It makes us feel stressed and nervous. Have you ever had that when someone's looking over us? It happens to me when I'm typing.
Oh, does it? So you start fumbling.
I start fumbling and I can't get things together because I feel like people are, again, they're triggering my status, can she do this? And they're going, that's the key, just press the F7. And I'm like, yep, I've got it. But it makes me feel nervous. So we all have those kind of responses. So again, we want to make sure that you don't need to stand over me when I'm typing some simple things. I've kind of got this. Like it's really important. So simple things like that. The next one is relatedness. Really simple. This is about our connection, how we feel about others, making sure that we feel safe in our work environment. Really simple to make sure that we create reward responses. Saying hello to people. It's really simple.
And looking people in the eye.
Yes. Yes. We don't want people to feel excluded. You've had those kind of times where you've walked into a room and suddenly everyone stops talking. It doesn't make you feel good. It's like, were they talking about me? that creates that trigger award, that creates that away response where people start to think, gosh, am I not part of the team? Do people not like me? And that goes into the next one, fairness. Everyone needs to feel like there's a level playing field, that the exchanges between people are fair. And this really links to our above and below the line behaviors as well. So if we're not calling things out, if there's different levels of interactions between people, this triggers our fairness, that's not fair. Why is that person getting away with that and I get called out for it? So fairness comes out in a lot of different ways within the workplace. And we know that when some of these domains are triggered, it causes the same response in our body as physical pain. It is that important that we don't trigger these. We want to create those really, really safe places for people to be.
And that fairness brings you back to that above the line and below the line, where if you call it out consistently, then everyone feels they're on that even level playing field, don't they?
Absolutely. And that links to relatedness.
Yep.
Everyone's together. Everyone's part of the team. It links to autonomy. People know that I can do my job. I don't need to be looked over. I've got the skills, and that goes to status. I've got the skills to do this. I understand. I can ask for help. And certainty is, again, around we've got this together. We're a team. We're going to work through this. Whatever happens, we're going to work through this together. So all of them together, it's really easy as to trigger those responses in others. It's really easy to feel those responses in others. What we have to do is make sure that we're not doing that and we're creating a really positive workplace culture, and we're aware of those scarf domains.
And even just offering a bit of support or help, are you fine? Do you want any help with this? And then that gives the person an opportunity to say, no, it's all good. I've got it. Or if they are feeling a bit unsure of themselves, they'll say thank you. Then that builds their confidence.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Again, it relates to those really simple things we've talked about. Really good communication, having those above and below the line behaviors, calling things out, being a leader. Everyone is a leader. All of those things all build on each other. This is a simple tool. I really think, again, people should practice the SCARF model, understand a little bit more about it. There's lots of stuff on the web. David Rock is the man who made this model. He's got a lot of resources out there. Think about it and think about how you show up at work, because again, what we want to do is not create threat. We want to create reward.
Well, thank you once again. Very enlightening, Ellie. And I think we can all go practice it. Anyone can practice it, can't they?
Yeah, anyone can practice it. And it's simple. It's really, really simple. So yeah, take some time, have a little read, think about if you're triggering those, what can you do to create that reward response?
Oh, thank you, Ellie, very much.
Thanks, Liz.
Thanks for listening. This series has been made possible through the support of our sponsor, the EML Group. For over a century, EML has helped Australian employers navigate workers' compensation while supporting their people recover and get their lives back after workplace injury or illness. As well as being experts in claims management, they also help employers to reduce the risk of injuries happening in the first place by providing free training, tools and services like this webinar. Visit eml.com.au today to find out more and access their free range of mental health related resources.